I went to a psychic once and she told me that I was going to write crime novels. Hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. She also told me I was going to move to Hawaii and that I was very tired. I am Charli XCX. I'm from the UK and I am a musician, mostly. This morning for breakfast, I had scrambled eggs on toast and an orange juice. One thing that I never travel without is my sleep medication because I find it very hard to go to sleep at night. The first thing I do when I wake up is I check my phone, which I really try to not do, but like realistically, it's what I do. My earliest musical memory, I remember I sang Barbie Girl when I was like 4 or 5 on stage at like a talent show when I was on like a family holiday, and I just like did it with no like backing track or anything, and I won the talent show. But I think it was more because I was cute rather than I was actually that good at singing that song when I was 4. My favorite film right now is probably Cronenberg's Maps to the Stars, but it's kind of, there's like some in the rotation, you know, that are always coming back and forth, but right now it's that. I think I was listening to the Strokes record, Is This It? I mean, I guess just like all the things that I've learned about myself over the years, about my inner voice and my intuition as a person and an artist. I guess like nobody apart from me could have taught me that because nobody else is me. I think true romance era Charli would really like music, fashion, film. I think there are some links to the 2 albums actually. I think in particular True Romance, Charli would really like Magic Metal Montana. There's some kind of similarities in the sound palette of those, of that song and that album. I think if you were going to play a film in the background while listening to my new album, I would probably say to play the fashion documentary Unzipped, which is a film documenting Isaac Mizrahi, the fashion designer, as he's preparing for his New York Fashion Week show. It's a beautiful film. It's all in black and white, and it's kind of like a portrait of an artist, and it's very kind of docu-style. It's beautiful, actually. It's very like beautiful to look at. The one person I hope listens to my new record, I mean, he has heard half of it because I was sending him some demos. I didn't send him all of the album, so I don't know if he's heard the whole thing, but David Cronenberg, it'd be nice for him to listen from top to bottom. I should send him one. Yeah. You know, it's funny, whenever my music gets put in fashion shows, for the most part, especially when I was younger, I was never really told in advance that it was going to happen. So when Marc Jacobs used one of my early songs in his 2010 runway show, I didn't know it was happening. I think I eventually just sort of like found out because it was posted online. And I remember feeling like, whoa, that is cool. It's cool to see your music on the runway. Like it's, I don't know, it's just like cunty or whatever. Well, it's not Finn, but he's close. I think George and Alex are a similar height. I think they're both 6'4". Yeah, I genuinely don't know. I think they're the same height. Yeah, tall kings. Yeah, when we were making The Moment, it was such a family orientated feeling being on that set, and so we were always kind of helping each other out with advice for scenes or dialogue. You know, it was all on the page, but we were also doing a lot of improv, so everyone was kind of very supportive of each other. So the whole cast was sort of moving in this kind of like unit and was very conversational with each other and locked in. It was a really cool way to work. The scene with Kylie Jenner in the moment wasn't inspired by like a real thing that happened to me, but you know, I think we've all been in those moments where you're kind of at a low point in your life and you're feeling sort of embarrassed and humiliated or ashamed or just, you know, very low and insecure, and then you run into somebody who you're like, oh my God, this is the last person who I want to see right now. And I suppose for us in the film, it made sense for that person to be Kylie, who, you know, when our character versions of ourselves meet, you know, we're sort of like at these like polar opposite kind of experiences in our lives. Like, you know, it's mentioned like she's a mother and she's about to go and have a facial with this woman who I've had this like really traumatic time with. It's like we're sort of polar opposites, and I think that's why the scene works. And I mean, she's so amazing, and she's a really great actor. When it comes to doing a double feature, for me at least, I like to go in opposites, like maybe something more kind of challenging followed by something that feels really like light and fun and easy, or like, I don't know, different eras perhaps is also a nice way to go, or something that you've never seen followed by something that you watch all the time. We watched Rob Reiner's Misery the other night when we were at I was rehearsing for Lolla, and what would I follow it with? Maybe I'd do a double Rob Reiner feature and like do Spinal Tap right after or something. I really like Fairuza Balk. I think she's cool. She's very like wild and punk, and I don't know, I kind of want to be her, so maybe she could play me and then I can kind of like get that satisfaction. If I was to write a book, it would probably be full of spelling mistakes. And I don't know, I guess if I was going to write a book, it would probably be in some way about music or songs. I'm not sure I could do a fiction. I don't really know where I would go. But who knows? Never say never. I went to a psychic once and she told me that I was going to write crime novels. Hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. She also told me I was going to move to Hawaii and that I was very tired. Hawaii's beautiful. I don't know that I see myself living there permanently, but I'd love to like go back for sure, like for a while. I don't know about the crime novels still though. I haven't quite got there yet. When I was younger, I was doing like a festival tour in Australia with a kind of group of artists, and one of those artists was Robin. And we knew each other a little bit from before. This is years and years and years ago. But we kind of got to know each other a bit better on that tour. And I remember one night, all of the artists had like gone out and were like hanging out or whatever, and I was feeling very socially anxious, and Robin kind of like pulled me aside and was like, hey Charli, just so you know, like you don't have to worry about fitting in all the time, people already like you, just be yourself. And I don't know, it was just like a very sweet, like kind moment. I think she could see I was like struggling and feeling a bit like uninteresting or whatever, and she was kind of just like very kind and gracious, and she always is like that, and that really stuck with me. When I'm creating a live show, the first thing that happens is for me, I dream like ridiculously big and kind of put all of the ideas down, some which are extremely unrealistic, impractical, and way too expensive. And then you kind of like figure out actually what is possible. The first thing, it's like the most bonkers idea of all time. Like, I want like 100 people on stage with me every night, you know, like things like that. It's just like, that's not for me possible, you know, and yeah, you kind of go from there. The upcoming tour is really different from a tour any tour I've done before. I think it's probably my best show ever. I'm really, really proud of the show and how it looks, and we've spent a lot of time really like dialing it, and I don't want to give too much away, but I feel it feels to me very epic and cinematic, and I've been really enjoying rehearsing it actually. The I Heart shirts, I don't think they are going to be available at the merch table yet, but never say never. It'd be fun to see who's choosing Finn and who's choosing Alex. With this album and therefore this tour, I have been thinking about film a little bit more when it comes to stage direction, just because, obviously it's right there in the title. And, been thinking about that through like, okay, how are the camera operators going to move? How are we going to light this in like a very different way from the Brat show? Things like that. And how are we going to like make the IMAG work and feel different and play more into the world of the album that I've created, which is, to me at least, quite filmic. So yeah, I've been really thinking about that a lot with preparing this show. I'm very excited to perform Card Declined. I heard maybe it's going to rain tomorrow at Lollapalooza though, so I'm worried I'm also going to like trip and fall in that song, but we'll see. The biggest thrill is like, it's such an honor to be headlining a festival like Lolla, getting to do it exactly my way. I've done so many shows where it's like you're playing in front of somebody else's stuff or whatever, and that's obviously like totally fine, and that's part of the journey, but it's I feel very proud of myself that we're doing the show tomorrow, and I feel really excited about it. I think it can be a crowd that's very amped up and just like wanting to party and go crazy, but it can also be a crowd who's just like really locked in. You just feel it, you feel the energy, and when you feel the energy and the energy is right, it's like you kind of know, and they're responding to your energy, and it's all sort of this alchemy that's coming together. That's really nice. What do I have coming up? I have a few more festivals, and then actually I'm going to go on holiday, which I'm really excited about. My favorite place to go on holiday is Italy. Always. I really want to go all over. I really want to go to as many places in Italy as possible. I've been spending a lot of time in Sicily recently because George and I got married there. But I'm kind of going to go all over. I want to just like go to as many different places as possible. I've never been to Tuscany. There's a lot of places I haven't been, so we'll see. I think you should get A.G. Cook in the elevator. I think he'd have fun in here. I think he'd really like prang out if the elevator like jumped as it did for me, which would be fun. Like, I think he'd have a good time. Yeah. I have a couple. One is really based just on this like thing that happened to me the other night. I was carrying some drinks in cups in my handbag, like just like in plastic cups, like 4 drinks, 4 margaritas. Obviously they spilled everywhere because I'm an idiot. So I would like some sort of like in handbag cup holder situation to be invented so that like messy bitches like me don't ruin their handbags. But I don't know that like that's my MO. Somebody else could do it and I'll just buy one. That would be great. And then also I just think like, obviously people know I love sunglasses. And I'm a big advocate for sunglasses indoors, but I'm also like actually a real advocate for sunglasses in the shower, which I learned like the other day when I was a bit hungover. I was like, okay, let me just like wear the sunglasses in the shower, and because it's a bit bright, and it was actually great. Sort of like cured the hangover because I wasn't getting too much light. I was getting like the water, sort of felt like a music video. It was really cool. So I would pitch for that. Yeah.